does everything. Passes, runs. Breed out of the backfield has been pretty consistent with 8 touchdowns on the ground. Meanwhile, for Idaho, Chuck, they played tough, but Texas State had the final answer, 35-30. The Bobcats able to get the win over the Vandals, who are 0-5, and another team that's hung in a bunch of games, Chuck, and they've covered some games. McCain pretty good as far as receiving. Jarrell Brown and Penny out of the backfield trying to take some pressure off Linehan, who's thrown 9 touchdowns, but 10 interceptions to get you in trouble for Paul Petrino's Vandals. In the game, Sir Charles, it is Georgia Southern the favorite, minus 24.5, 65.5 the total.
Yeah, this line opened 20.5. All the money's going Georgia Southern, who's 5-1 against the spread. And I'm impressed with what Georgia Southern's been able to do here. Kind of a double play to get out of the inning for Baltimore. Georgia Southern been very impressive, 500 yards averaging on the offense. Idaho's problem is defensively. They can't stop anybody, and they'll have a tough time stopping Georgia Southern.
6-4-3 and a great play at first base as the throw was high, but able to keep his foot. Yep, and I tell you what, Diaza, Jones, and Cruz coming up bottom 9, tied at 5, but bases loaded, no outs. Boy, if the Royals lose this game in the series, they'll look back at this one. Remember, they had their opportunities. Meanwhile, next one on the docket, Arkansas State and Georgia State. Freddie Knighton and the boys going on the road. The Red Wolves coming off a nice win against UL Monroe, a win and a cover in this game. Arkansas State on the road, minus 10, 65.5. Arbuckle leads the way for Georgia State's Panthers. Again, I know a guy, Blake, out there that follows us, very interested in this game. I think he's leaning towards Arkansas State. Charles, this is a game that I'll probably stay away from. But, again, Georgia State shows they can score. But I like Freddie Knighton. He's a dual-threat quarterback. White and Gordon out of the backfield. Remember, they just got Michael Gordon back. McKissick's their main guy as far as catching passes, has 30 receptions, but has no touchdowns by the airways. So the Red Wolves will have to change that there. But having Gordon to complement White out of the backfield gives the Red Wolves the advantage. But again, they're on the road, minus 10. Don't know if I'm going to play this one at all.
Yeah, some early money on Georgia State. Arkansas State opened up 14, and the total opened up 59.5. Georgia State, 4 out of 5 of their games have gone over. Arkansas, 4 of their 5 games have gone under the total. So a little contrast there. Tough game. I'll stay away.
UL Monroe, Charles, speaking of the Warhawks there, UL Monroe, Berry's boys, they are on the road against Kentucky. Kentucky's been a nice story, but first we got to get back to Florida International in Texas San Antonio, and this game is now down to 9.5. The road runners favored, 40.5 the total against Florida International. Florida International, Chuck, has won their last 2 games, and they've done it without really doing much as far as on the offense, but what they are doing is being very opportunistic. 10-1 in turnovers in the last 2 games, 6-0 against UAB, and then 4-1 against FAU. And that game turned on a dime. FAU was going for a first down. They were inside the 5-yard line, down 17-10. They fumbled. The ball was picked up 3 yards deep in the end zone and returned 103 yards for a touchdown. And that was huge. And again, that changed the whole complexion of that game. McGuff has been okay quarterbacking there, Florida International. Texas San Antonio, after winning their opener at Houston convincingly, they dropped 4 straight. But they've had a tough schedule. They lost Arizona by 3. They got beat in Stillwater against Okie State. They lost at FAU. But then last week was a surprise because they lost to this New Mexico team that's getting beat right now by San Diego State. They get Tucker Carter back. Chuck, he played part of the game last week, got hurt with a shoulder injury, but he's set to go in this one. In the game, again, 9.5 is the line with the Roadrunners favored over the Panthers and Florida International.
Yeah, a lot of money's coming at Florida International as it opened up 13, and also the total. A lot of money on the under. It opened up 45. Florida International, you mentioned, so taking over advantage of some turnovers. Also good defense, only giving up 329 game. They beat Florida Atlantic 38-10. That same Florida Atlantic team beat Texas San Antonio 41-37 a couple of weeks back. Meanwhile, Florida National also beat a very good UAB team. They led Pittsburgh at the half, and they're getting a bunch of points. I think Florida National's the right side.
All right, UL Monroe at Kentucky. Get back to that one. The boys from Lexington favored 49.5 the total. And, of course, those opening practices going on with Calipari's boys, so they're getting most of the attention. But it is good. Stoops is doing a number there. Right now they're 4-0 at home, 4-1 against the number. Patrick Toll's doing his job. JoJo Kemp, Braylon Hurd, Timmons, Johnson. This is a good team, and Josh Forrest leads the way. 41 tackles, Chuck. He started the season 3rd on the depth chart, the linebacker, but he's their leading tackler now. Pete Thomas better have his act together there for UL Monroe. But, again, this could be one of those games that you look past because you're in the middle of SEC play. Next thing you know, you got UL Monroe. You're going to get the win, but will you cover the 21?
Agree. Good spot for UL Monroe. Kentucky comes off a huge win against South Carolina where they made a comeback. Next week they have LSU, who they haven't beat. And I'm guessing, I don't even know this, but I'm guessing they haven't beat them in a long time. probably a good spot for UL Monroe.
Mississippi off that big win against Bama. They're in College Station against A&M. Chuck, I did a video there, pregame.com, pregame.tv. I know this game could go either way. I really respect Mississippi's defense, and I was happy for Freeze. Once I realized that Bama couldn't cover the game, I started rooting for Ole Miss. And again, when it was 23-17. The craziest thing is they missed the extra point, a penalty. They get another shot at it, and it's blocked. So I had no chance for the game to go into overtime. A&M, they got lambasted, but again, they dropped about 10 passes in their loss against Mississippi State. They're 3-0 at home. Kenny Hill better get off to a good start. The Williams boys and Carson better be able to run it, but they have Speedy Noyle back for a second game now. And then you have Reynolds, Kennedy, Pope, and Jones, Seals-Jones. That's pretty good receiving core. Ole Miss, again, they don't have a letdown. We know the defense is good. Treadwell, solid receiver. Walton and Mathers, pretty good out of the backfield. Chuck, this is going to be a good one. A&M right now, 2.5, 66.5 the total from College Station.
A lot of people think Mississippi, after the biggest win probably in their program's history, might be a little bit not focused for this game. I don't know. They're still going for the national championship here. In their minds, they're 5-0. Texas A&M, 31-48 to Mississippi State offensively. They got a lot of those points late in the game. They should have lost to Arkansas. They're giving up 407 a game. Mississippi's defense only giving up 277 a game. The situation would lean you at Texas A&M, but I think it's a good Mississippi team. I'm going to stay away. There could be some thunderstorms there as well.
All right, when we come back, we finish up the college football. We've got 7 games to go, and we'll get those in before the bottom of the hour. Then we'll start hitting the NFL. Ken Thompson, Chuck Gettle, Nick Schroer, our great producer. He's back in Houston. Again, 5-5, Royals, Orioles, 1 out, nobody on for Baltimore, bottom of the ninth. Meanwhile, 27-17, Stanford with 4.5 minutes to go. Wazoo has the ball back on their own 5-yard line. Get you updated on all the games when we come back, and we'll roll through the rest of the college. Sports X Radio, Yahoo Sports Radio Network, live from Vegas inside the Palazzo. We'll be right back.
No, it's unreal. How many Kansas City, almost every playoff game they've been in is extra innings. Except, if I get to share with
Here's
my water.
Scully's hair.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely, Charlie. You are Charlie. You strike out?
Yeah, Wade Davis is good, huh? I mean, he's good.
His ERA is like under 1. It's
He's
like
a lot of strikeouts. It's incredible. I mean, he could go a long way too. I mean, he's going to go because he used
he'll
to be a
go 3
starter.
innings, yeah, for sure.
And then they waste him.
Dude, he's unbelievable.
I know. Nelson Cruz, look at this matchup, kid. This is a hell of a matchup.
I would not give him anything good.
Wow.
Air Force, Utah State.
I like Air Force.
So do I.
I
They should be
understand the line.
undefeated.
I don't understand the line. Why is
Well,
it so
because
hard?
Utah State beat BYU.
But
They actually played well, Chuck.
BYU,
Barrett's not bad.
BYU was
They're
without
in
a
Logan.
quarterback.
They're in Logan. I mean, I'll take the points. Air Force is.
Air Force beat Navy. They beat Boise. I'm just saying for
I
8
know.
points.
I 7.5. It's down to 7.5.
I got an 8.
50.5. It's down to 7.5 though. Everywhere.
Whoa, he took a cut.
Everywhere.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm telling you, you know what?
They get a lot of respect for beating
Hey,
BYU.
I
Arkansas
know
State.
South Florida has trouble scoring, but they can muck that game up. East Carolina, they couldn't stop SMU.
I don't know. I think they were flat for that game after coming off all those big games.
How are you going to get up for South Florida?
Oof.
Chuck, remember, they beat up on North Carolina. They trailed 20-14 in that game at home, too. And then I had them, and everything fell away from them.
Yeah. Beat
I'm just saying,
Virginia
I don't
the
think their
week before.
defense is that good.
Yeah, with South Florida, I don't know how
What
good.
the hell's that?
That's a weird play.
I'm like, what the Texas.
He hit home. I guess it was
Right,
home right away the
They got him
game.
in the series. Or helped him get the series.
He's coming after him too. I mean, he's coming after him. Wow, he's too good, huh?
Holy shit, he blew him away. Dude, Wade Davis is. Dude,
Yeah,
you serious? Dude, that had to be a 98-mile-an-hour
Yeah,
fastball.
yeah.
That thing was moving. Wow.
Yeah,
You don't
nobody
challenge Nelson Cruz like
hit
that
a
too
shot.
often.
Nobody hit a shot against him. I mean, he's gonna
Dude, he blew him out on 3 pitches.
impressive.
You're going to cover that. Hopefully, you just need a first down or 2. You got to get out of your own goalpost. Go there. But they're not. See, that's the thing with Leach, though. He's not going to give it up either. Yeah, forget it.
He scored again.
No, but
Back to
9 minutes, yeah.
Is that really Ickey Woods in this commercial?
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. You know where he played, right?
I know he went at Cincinnati. He played for ULB, right? Yeah.
In LV, baby.
Before I was he? What year was he at ULB?
What?
Before we were here, what year were you?
He was after Cunningham. He was after Randall.
Might have been my first year here.
When did you get here?
92.
No, he was
Before that, right?
Yeah, he was before that. He was in the 80s. Ricky Woods, man. Oh, shit. He dropped it. That's right, though. That was only first down. You just need him not to drop any. You don't want the clock to stop. Freaking Humphrey. 239 yards on the ground. Jeez. 15 to 14. It's all those long runs. That's it.
Yeah, shame.
No, they have 401. We have 263.
How about that? That'd be good.
San Diego State, 3 turnovers to none. A fumble and 2 interceptions. Let's hope that they have it now. Hopefully they have it now.
Lucky. It sounds like we're lucky.
Oh, no, yeah. The worst thing is that a field goal actually brings them within 7. We don't want that.
No. Yeah, exactly. They'd rather be down 10.
9:09 to go, man. Hopefully they just picked up a fumble or something. I mean, I'm just looking at the box score. We don't have any turnovers, so.
When you see some of these people walk back, they're so drunk walking.
We got Chuck. This is it. We got to get through this. And we have 9 minutes. 8 really. 8.5.
How many games?
8.
We got it.
Yeah, piece of cake. Canaccord.
Been there before.
Canaccord.
Been there before.
Where are we on? South Florida?
No, Utah State. 189, 190. Page 20.
There it is.
There it is. Look.
All right, the boys are rolling. Wade Davis just blew away Nelson Cruz on an 0-2 pitch, and they are going to extra innings. 5-5 KC in Baltimore. Meanwhile, Washington State Stanford inside 4 minutes, and 27-17. A penalty on Stanford has given Wazoo a first down and nearly a pick 6 right there. 3:09 to go. 27-17 Stanford. We'll keep tabs there. Still San Diego State up with 9 minutes to go by 10, and UNLV up by 10 as well. 17-7. Early third quarter. The San Diego State game has 9 minutes to go in the game. Air Force and Utah State from Logan. Kel Pearson leads the way for Calhoun's boys, who have been very solid. Chuck, they had no business losing that Wyoming game. Lost that inside the last minute, or they'd be unbeaten. Jacoby Owens helping out Pearson out of the backfield. Garrett Brown pretty solid as far as the receiving core. Meanwhile, Jordan Pierce, the middle linebacker, has been outstanding. He replaced Joey Nickel, and he's their leading tackler for Utah State. Garrettson, he's leading the way after our main guy, Chucky Keaton, went down. Natson, Hall, and Hill out of the backfield. Sharp, pretty good receiver. Again, they busted BYU's winning streak, and unfortunately, they took out Taysom Hill's leg as well for Cougar fans, and they came up with their first victory in Provo. Chuck, since Jim McMahon was there, ironically, they were retiring Jim McMahon's number the night of that game, and then they went down and ended up losing that game in Provo. In the game, it is Utah State favored 7.5 at home against Air Force.
Yeah, and you were right when you said they busted BYU's losing streak. Unfortunately, the quarterback, like you said, I'm impressed with this Air Force team. I mean, they beat Navy 30-21. They beat Boise 28-14. Defensively, they're playing very good ball. Offensively, moving it, throwing the ball more than we've seen them throw. I think Utah State's getting a lot of respect from that 35-20 win at BYU. Give them credit for the win, even though they lost the week before to Arkansas State 21-14. I think the line's a tad high here. I would only look Air Force.
All right. By the way, I got a text from Blake, and let me know they replaced the turf there. A&M did about 10 days ago at Kyle Field. See if that has anything to do. Here's a long guy. That's going to be gone. A home run for Kansas City to lead off the top of the 10th, and the Royals on Alex Gordon's home run take a 6-5 lead. Boy, did he rip that one, no doubt, off O'Day. And right now the Royals lead it by a score of 6-5, top 10. Pick it up real quick, Charles, and we continue to roll with East Carolina at South Florida. ECU didn't play their best game defensively against SMU. They won it 45-24, but didn't come close to covering. Shane Carden, Chuck, this guy's been outstanding. Breon Allen out of the backfield. Hardy, Jones, and Brown, all solid receivers. South Florida off the bye. We'll go with White, Mack out of the backfield, really their only offense. They do have a solid defense with Bird, Godwin, and Harris combining for 114 tackles, and Cliette has 4 sacks there for the Bulls. In the game, the Bulls catching 17 at home from ECU, total of 57.
Yeah, ECU, we know they do it with offense, 581 yards a game. And they're going to play a South Florida team whose offense 283 a game. They might play a little defense there at South Florida, but tough score. They come off the bye. They did play Wisconsin, tough 27-10. the previous week to that, but we know now Wisconsin hasn't been doing that much. UConn to beat 17-14. Ken, the line looks about right here. You don't want to lay a lot of points against a South Florida team, and I'll stay away.
Yeah, it may be tough for East Carolina to get up for a South Florida team that struggles to score points. Michigan -1.5 at the Big House over Penn State. This line has kind of flip-flopped a little bit lately. Christian Hackenberg, Chuck, he's got a good form, but I said all along that this kid is still got to learn. He telegraphs his passes. 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Belton and Lynch not really that solid out of the backfield either. Penn State team has stolen some games. They did against Rutgers. Again, Gardner, he's the starting guy again now. They did lose Derek Green, but Davion Smith is probable for the game out of the backfield. Funches is an outstanding receiver. The Big House, I don't know how many people are going to be there for this one. They might support him one more time, Brady Hoke, 2-4. I'll tell you what, I'll probably look at Michigan in this game, Chuck, because I'm not sold on Penn State being very good. 41.5 the total. Michigan, if they're ever going to win a game at home, it'll be right here against Penn State.
Yeah, part of the reason Hackenberg has troubles is because Penn State can't run the ball. I mean, you can't run the ball, it's always tough to run the quarterback, and that's what we've seen here as of late. Teams have changed their defense, and we saw Northwestern beat them 29-6. Last year, Penn State won this game 43-40 in an overtime game. Defensively, though, Penn State's still playing pretty well, and Michigan also defensively has played well. Their problem's been their offense. I might take a look at the under here.
All right, Old Dominion against UTEP. Old Dom, we know Heineke can flat out throw the ball, but he has 8 interceptions. Johnson and Lowry out of the backfield are okay, but Pascal and Vaughn, that's where their offense is. The 2 wideouts combining for 11 touchdowns. Meanwhile, they got ripped by Marshall 56-14, but UTEP got embarrassed. La Tech beat them 55-3. Janelle Showers, here's the thing. If he can throw the ball, they'll be okay because Jones and Jeffrey can flat out run against competition like Old Dominion, especially defensively. But if Showers can't throw the ball to loosen that front 7, then they're going to be in trouble and they'll lose this game. We'll see what happens. UTEP at home, they're a short favorite, -365 the total from El Paso.
Old Dom's 3-3, but look at their wins, Ken. Hampton, Eastern Michigan, and then they did beat Rice by a field goal, but not a lot of marquee wins there. UTEP 2-3 on the year. Played Texas Tech tough a little while back. And I think at home, that line looks a little cute to me. I'd look UTEP.
Yeah, I'm going to play UTEP as well. UConn and Tulane. Nick Montana, Chuck, is getting the start. Nick Montana, the senior, now, of course, transferring from Washington. Tanner Lee is doubtful with that shoulder injury to play at all. But Montana gets to start there for Tulane. The Green Wave at home against Connecticut. Whitmer will start there for the Huskies. Jeremy Davis is only wideout threat. Batty, not bad out of the backfield there for Tulane. In this game, the Green Wave favored 3.5, 42 the total from Nolens.
Yeah, no real opinion here. I know UConn's got a good defense, and it could cause Tulane some problems, but I just worry about their offense. They're coming off the bye here. Tulane's coming off a 31-6 loss at Rutgers.
All right, Colorado State fresh off that win and a bye, of course, against Boston College. Garrett Grayson is probable for this one. 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. D. Hart out of the backfield. Higgins, pretty good receiver. Max Morgan, Aaron Davis lead the way tackling-wise for the Rams, 47-39 respectively. Meanwhile, Fajardo, he's got to get it together. He had a decent game offensively, 306 yardage passing-wise, Chuck, 3 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions against Boise State. They're still going for that number 300th win at Mackey Stadium. They didn't get it against Boise. They'll try and get it here against the Rams. In the game, Nevada catching 2.5 at home against Colorado State, 64.5 the total from Reno.
Yeah, a lot of money has come in on Colorado State and the over in this game. Colorado State won the game last year, 38-17. I think they're better than they were here last year. They definitely played well, 42-17 over Tulsa the week before, beat BC in a good game. And this Nevada team hangs around. I think I was surprised how bad their defense played against Boise, as they looked good a couple of previous weeks. But I'll stay away. The home team in the series, though, is 6-0 against the spread the last 6 games.
All right, last game on the docket for the colleges. If you're betting on Wyoming or Hawaii this year, you're in trouble because you're 2-8 against the number. Both teams 1-4. Wyoming off a bye after getting lambasted at Michigan State. Hawaii, Woolsey back there at quarterback. Laka out of the backfield. Harding, a solid receiver, but he's on his own. How about Julian Jenner, though? He's outstanding. Linebacker there, leads the way for the Rainbow Warriors. Meanwhile, Kierkegaard will lead the way for the Cowboys. Wick and Nay out of the backfield. Wick's been pretty good. Rough ran, outstanding receiver, but only 1 touchdown. He and Gentry between them. In the game, Wyoming on the road at Hawaii. They are +6. The Rainbow Warriors getting a lot of money in this game, 43 the total. Can Chow's boys get it done, Chuck, in the bailout game, late game, 9 o'clock Pacific from the islands?
The early money came in at Hawaii, and then again, a little bit money came in on them again here today. So a lot of money coming in that way. Hawaii has played well defensively. 4 of the 5 games have gone under the total, and you look at some of the competition They played Oregon State tough, even though they were coming from behind in that game. Meanwhile, Wyoming offensively really struggling here. And 6, though, that line at 6 right now, I just stay away.
All right, Stanford is 2nd and goal, 1:44 to go, 4th quarter, at home trying to get the cover against Wazoo, and they're busting it outside, and they get in the end zone. So we'll get you caught up on all the games when we come back in. Thompson, check out SportsX Radio, Yahoo Sports Radio Network. What are they doing? They're not in the championship. Why would you do that, man?
Well, they're trying to run the clock. You got to do. They got to go for it. You got to run it
on the ball.
Because Washington State still had timeout.
They're down double digits already.
I just can't let them hit a turnover.
Oh, you know what, though? You still have time. Holiday.
Actually, got
I know.
plus 17, but
Yeah,
obviously the office,
17.
yeah, no, and the office didn't get that. The line was less today. Miss it. You miss it again? Did you miss it? Oh my God!
Yeah, it was barely inside the post.
Wow!
Did you hear those guys?
Yeah.
He barely got that.
I like it. It's gonna be tough.
Look at that guy's going too.
Wow.
He just covered the line barely.
Unreal.
You can come back with Halliday.
They must have turned it.
Watch this. Here it is. Look. Oh, it hit the post and caromed in. Wow.
You imagine.
Look at it. They're laughing. They know what the line is now because ESPN starts hitting the line on these shows. Wow. Yeah. It's not a good night for college football. Except UNLV, you got 1 out of 3. You're going to be 1-1-1.
The office is going to lose Washington State. I'll be 1-1-1, but the office is going to lose it. Unless your man Holiday can come back here.
They suck.
Not sure. I think it must have been a turnover or something.
Yeah, I mean,
How did Stanford get it down there all of a sudden?
They may have gone for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I bet they did.
There it was, the turnover, New Mexico. They probably got right close and turned it over. Freaking throw an interception.
Jordan?
Yeah. Yep. Lamar Jordan interception. Freaking joker. So it sucks the kid can't pass the ball.
So we got the NFL, or
Yeah, we better roll through. We got 15 games. I lost about 10,000 pounds.
What's that?
Almost 17 inches.
Commercial.
Yes. That's great. It starts with an earthquake. If I didn't trust New Mexico, I lost 50 on them.
This guy sweat that turnover here.
Oh, man, can't even catch it. Wow. Minute 5 to go. Stanford still playing like it's the first quarter. Gee, 8 teams that don't even give you an inch here. Like down on your own 12. You're hoping you don't get a pick 6, right?
Where's the prevent defense when you need it?
Dude, how about if Leach came down and kicked the field goal?
That would be classic.
The extra point was good.
Yeah. Move.
False start. Come on, man. Beat that. These Kansas City teams just on a roll.
See, Trey, they are. I mean, that's baseball, right?
Show up just going, what the hell? Now I can't edge back at all.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do. Even a win tomorrow, if the Orioles don't win this game, the best I could do is tie the series going back to KC, and there's too much magic.
Jeez.
Oh my God, he's throwing every pass is behind him.
They better kneel on the ball now. Stanford better not try to score again.
He set the record. That's what I was going to say. I couldn't take him because it's like the pitcher coming off a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Thinking
They better.
I mean, nonstop interviews, national interviews he's had all week.
And they got to play this defense.
4th and 10.
But they'll kneel on the ball, won't they?
They're going for it.
Well, they got it.
Stanford
And
might
I
try
hope
to-
he just gets a first down somehow.
They might just hand off to some rookie.
Oh my God, it's gonna be further, but if they
He
lose,
might punt it.
if Stanford,
Leach might just say fuck
if
it.
Stanford tries to frickin', if Stanford tries, they're not supposed to. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
they're not
supposed to.
supposed
They'll
to.
knee on the ball.
Trust
They'll
me.
knee on it.
Oh, look at this. That's gone too.
Off the wall.
It's gone.
Unbelievable. This Kansas City team's just destined, huh? Incredible, huh? Who was that did that?
Moustakis.
Look at this, KT. No turnover. That's the
Dude,
more worried about
Moustakis was hitting
turnover.
like 170. Look at this. Safety.
Come on, come on, come on.
Nope.
No, that's huge, Joe. Now that they're kneeling on the ball.
Some guy might bust it for. Here we go, check. NFL. Ken Thompson, Chuck Edel, real quick look. Kansas City, as you heard, another home run, a 2-run jack by Moustakis, leading 8-5, 1 out, top 10. They're going to win more than likely game 1 of the AL Championship Series. This team's just on a roll right now. Meanwhile, Stanford kneeling on the ball, so they're going to knock off Washington State 34-17. That'll be a final, so it depends when and where you got that line, because it was 17, but they're
Moved
pretty
on
much
Thursday, I think.
to 16 and a half. Yeah, pretty much all 16 and a half. The game also, Chuck goes under by a point and a half, finishing at 51, 52 and a half the total. Right now, San Diego State 4 minutes away from a victory and a cover, leading New Mexico 24-14. 4:12 to go. It is a final now in that Stanford game, and UNLV still leading Fresno State 17-7, 3:40 to go in the third quarter. And again, the baseball game 8-5 Royals, and there is 1 out in the top half of the 10th inning. Now there are 2 outs. All right, next game that we are going to be looking at is an NFL game, and it is the opener. Of course, my Colts coming off a nice win against Houston, but the opener on Sunday on the rotation schedule, Denver and the New York Jets. Manning, Hillman will be in the backfield. You got to hand it to Denver, bulking up that defense with Ware and Talib and Ward. I mean, it's paying off right now. Ware already 3 sacks. Von Miller has 4. Sanders, the 2 Thomas boys taking care of business, and Eric Decker. We'll get to see Peyton Manning. Unfortunately, he'll be on the other side, Chuck. He'll be trying to retrieve passes from either Geno Smith or Michael Vick. Chris Ivory needs a big game for them to hang in there. This team's hurting, Chuck. The Jets do have some sacks between Demario Davis and Calvin Pace. But again, this Jet team is woeful to watch. That game against San Diego, if you're a Jets fan, that had to be one of the most disgusting games to watch. And Rex Ryan's on borrowed time as we speak. Jets are catching 8.5 up to 9 some places, but here at CGT, it is Denver minus 8.5, total 48.
You know, at a very young age, I worked for a bookmaker. A very sharp guy, very sharp bettor. One thing he told me, in the NFL, the team is never as good as they looked the week before, and they're never as bad as the week before. And I'm really trying to believe in that because I saw the Jets look as bad as anybody could possibly look. 169 yards of offense last week.
They got 80 of that late.
Yeah, and I mean, Geno Smith couldn't have looked any worse. The Jets haven't covered a game all year. Meanwhile, Denver Broncos coming to town after 41-20 win over Arizona. Looking real good in that game. The line actually went all the way up to 10. Denver was minus 10. Then a little bit of later money came in on the Jets. I know the public's going to be all over Denver here. So I'm trying to make a case for the Jets, but I wouldn't advise anybody to do it, but I probably will have money on it, which is scary.
All right, I'll probably be the only joker that I know on Cleveland. I'm going to be on Cleveland. I did a video there, pregame.com. I said, you know what? I'm taking a shot. No, it's not a rivalry when you lose 19 of 20. And I know Big Ben's record in the state of Ohio is like 17-3. But I just have a feeling this Cleveland team's not the same doormat that they've been. They came back from 27-3 down, tied the game at 27 against Pittsburgh. They came back last week against Tennessee and got a win, down 28-3, whatever it was, and coming back. I mean, this team's showing some character, and Hoyer's looked pretty good under the gun, and I'm impressed. The defense hasn't been as good as I thought they would be. Again, Pittsburgh, they still have the running game with Bell and Blunt. Roethlisberger has been clutch in some aspects of the season. Brown, pretty good receiver. Wheaton's okay. He's got potential. Miller, his usual steady self. Timmons, Allen, and Polamalu leading them in tackles. 2-0-2 against the number for Cleveland, 2-3 for Pittsburgh. I'm going to rely on Weston Crowell out of the backfield. Haskins, Gabriel, Austin, but Benjamin's my main guy. And then Whitner, Dansby, Hayden, and Gibson will step it up. I like Cleveland to win the game by 7, Charles.
I guess Joker number 2, because I agree with you.
Oh, no. There you go. Good. A couple jokers. There's always 2 in the deck.
As we know, there you go. And we know the Steelers held them off in the first game, but Cleveland's got a lot better since then. And how about the Steelers? Last week they beat Jacksonville 17-9, but that game was 10-9. They picked off a Bortles pass and ran it for a touchdown to make it a little worse. The week before that, they gave up the game at home. They lost to Tampa 27-24. Meanwhile, Cleveland, how about every game they've played this year has been right? I mean, within 3 points. They lost to Pittsburgh by 3. They beat the Saints by 2. They lost by Baltimore to 2, and they beat Tennessee last week after trailing 28-3. They come back and win 29-28. You got to give them credit there, and I'm with you on Cleveland.
All right, real quick, again, if it was your birthday on October the 10th today, happy birthday to you. I know it's back on the East Coast. It's already turned to the 11th. Peter Mahavlich, 68 years old, great hockey player for years. Brett Perriman from the Lions is 49. Brett Favre, 45 today. Alexei Zhitnik from Ukraine, who played defense for Buffalo, 42. Yinka Dari is 42. John Mobley, linebacker from the Super Bowl champion Broncos, 41. Chris Pronger, 40 for the Blues many years. Pat Burrell for the Phillies is 38. Tulowitzki is 30. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 40. Gus Williams, great player out of USC, number retired by the Supersonics, is 61. And I saved this guy for last. The reason I got the birthdays in now. Paul Posluszny is 30, and he'll be anchoring that Jacksonville defense where he leads them with 40 tackles. Chuck, this guy, doesn't matter where Posluszny goes, he is just a stud outside the world of sports. Diamond David Lee Roth is 59, and Ben Vereen is 68. Mario Lopez, 41, from Saved by the Bell already, and those birthdays had to duck those in there. But Jacksonville, Chuck, believe it or not, they have 16 sacks coming into this game. One of the leading teams in the NFL. Cyprian and Posluszny and Ball have been pretty solid. They need to do something to help out Bortles, who has 6 interceptions already in the game. Tennessee at home, -4, 43.5. And the Titans, again, they got to figure out, is it Whitehurst that's going to be going in place of Locker?
Yep.
See if Charlie can cut down on the turnovers. But I don't know how you get back up for a home game after blowing a 28-3 lead.
If Jacksonville's ever going to win a game now, they're 0-5 in the year, and they're 0-5 against the spread. This would be the game that they could do it, because Tennessee coming off a horrible loss. No Jake Locker. Whitehurst has not been sharp as well, and this would be the toilet bowl game of the week, I guess. But I'm not going to get involved. All
right, I heard RJ Bell though from pregame say teams that are 0-5 against the number are pretty good against the spread that next game. So we'll see what happens there. I'll look at Jacksonville. Chicago, the Bears, they messed us up last week, Chuck. They were the difference between us being 5-0 in that super contest, or 4-1, and they blew a 21-7 lead. I know you weren't on them. I convinced you to take the Bears. Atlanta, they're 2-3 as well as the Bears. Both teams straight up and against the number. Matty Ryan and company, though, at home going against the Bears. I just like the over. I know it's 54, but I think both teams are going to score at will. Both defenses banged up. Atlanta -3, probably the only way I'd look, just the way they played there inside the dome. But again, the receiving corps for the Bears always a big height advantage. I'm going to just play the over in this one.
I hate to say, but I agree with you again. I think it's going to be a high scoring.
Circle blocks the square.
The Bears have gone over 4 of their 5 games this year. Atlanta defensively hasn't been able to stop anybody. Giants put up 30 on them last week. Now they're much better at home. They're 2-0 at home this year, 0-3 on the road. And we know Ryan is comfortable throwing the ball. Their Bears defense banged up, can't stop anybody. We might get this in my head.
I like that though. Circle blocks the square. I didn't even hit me there. The old Hollywood Squares reference there, but the sharps and squares here in Vegas. All of a sudden, Chuck and I are looking a little square on that play. All right, Green Bay and Miami. This is one that I've heard a contrast of opinions throughout the week. Green Bay is -3 now, down from 3.5, 49 the total. A lot of sharp money coming in on the Miami Dolphins. Should be pretty hot. Kickoff 1 o'clock there in Miami. I think it's going to be in the 90s. And we'll see what happens there. Again, the Dolphins at home. They've come up with a nice home game early against New England, but then got beat up pretty good by Kansas City. They come off the bye week, of course, going to London, pounding the Raiders. Green Bay looking better, Charles, but again, still the offensive line. The defensive line still misses Raji. I'm going to stay away from this one, but I know you have an opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking Miami here. Green Bay 1-2 on the road this year. Their only road win. They were impressive on it, but they lost to Detroit 19-7. Miami comes off the bye as well here, and I'm going to look at Miami.
Chuck, where's your girlfriend? I mean, your wife from?
Louisiana, but she grew up in Florida.
What's her team?
That would be your team, but I have no problem going against them.
Once in a while,
You know,
That's
once
for
in
the
a while I
listeners.
gotta ever put the cheerleader outfit on. You know what I mean?
That's good stuff. All right, that is just great stuff. I just had to get you with that one. All right, Detroit and Minnesota, and again Detroit all banged up. Charles, you're missing a bunch of guys for this game. Looks like Megatron won't go. Bush maybe will play,
No, I'm hearing he's not going to play or Megatron.
and
Megatron's
Joy Bell. Joy Bell's out too.
Yeah, they're in trouble on the Lions.
And we'll see what happens. It's outdoors too in Minnesota. 43 is the total, Chuck. And
Bridgewater is playing.
yeah, Bridgewater's playing. That's the only thing that scares me because if Ponder was playing, I'd be all over this under like no tomorrow. I'll probably still look towards that way. I think this game outdoors may be lower scoring. Minnesota's -1. 43 is the total. Charles, I'll let you pick this one apart.
Vikings signed Fran Tarkenton this week to back up Bridgewater, but they don't have a lot of confidence in Ponder. And if you watch his last game against Green Bay, you'd probably agree. But Detroit actually, you know, their shot here is with their defense, and their defense has been playing great. 4 of their 5 games have gone under the total. They gave up a tough loss last week as Buffalo came back to beat them 17-14. But this Vikings team, you know, if you look at the game Bridgewater started when they put up 41 points against Atlanta, you got to be impressed. But this Detroit defense is a lot better. But with everybody banged up here, I would lean Minnesota in the game.
Orioles down to their final out, man on first, 2 outs. Again, 8-5. Kansas City looking to take care of business right now. And again, Baltimore just trying to get that tying run to the plate.
Walk them, they make it exciting.
3-1 count, yes. And Walt will put the tying run at the plate. Ken Thompson, Chuck Edel, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish it up with the final segment of SportsX Radio. We'll pick it up with Carolina and Cincinnati. A.J. Green going to miss the game, but we'll talk about that and the rest of the NFL schedule when we come back live from Vegas. It is SportsX Radio on the Yahoo Sports Radio Network. Figured I'd get out so we can regroup. We'll be back by 45, so we'll have 11. We'll have 11.
Okay.
11
What's the
minutes.
total? What are you showing the total right now?
Carolina,
Yeah.
43.5.
I like it under.
It's gone up 2.5 points.
Let me see.
All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in 11 minutes. We could do it. Good shot.
Here.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake. 24-14 final. Fresno State scored.
What's the score?
17-14
I don't know.
Fresno final New Mexico. 24-14. They suck.
Oh, Mama told me there'd be like days like this.
Now you tell me you're not going to come over and at least see the place.
Days. I've been working all day. That's good. Sunday night. What are you doing Sunday night?
3:30, man.
What are you doing Sunday night?
Christy's coming to town Sunday night.
Who's playing Sunday night? Well, here comes the time run. What's the Sunday night game?
Sunday night game is a good one. It is Giants and Eagles.
Oh, who do you like there?
I don't know.
Oh, we got to do our Hilton. Where am I going with
They made that film. They made that video about Eli being in Philadelphia, and they're sending it out like how he's wimping and showing him being scared and Philly like it's a video.
Good. I like the Giants.
I know. I tell you what. I hope the
Philly
Giants
should have
win.
lost last week.
I hope the Giants beat him, man. Eli's good on the road, man. I'm telling
Giants
you.
won 3 in a row. They're playing better.
Eli's cool too.
Who's up here with the tying run? That'd be unreal. Delman Young.
Oh my
He's
God, he's a
clutch.
perfect guy.
This guy is clutch.
Perfect guy.
Look at that. 5 home runs on his first pitch this year. Oh, man.
Boy, man,
That
he
was
had a
horrible.
full. Holland's like
Throws
he
that
has no
split
clue.
finger, yeah. He was swinging no matter what there.
Dude, he could have rolled the ball and he was swinging.
That was
Dude, he
his ball hit the
jacked
third.
us.
His ball hit the third.
He's got no
He's got no
clue.
shot. No shot.
So it's 0-2.
Unless he makes a mistake. Holland's not making a mistake. He's going to throw the same
Delman
pitch.
Young's a good hitter, but he knows he was amped up. I think that calmed him down because he's embarrassed.
He's going to throw the same pitch, do you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to lay. How about Bryce Harper? Remember, he got embarrassed like that on that 0-1 pitch, and then he worked out the walk.
He went at
Dude, what a bullpen case he's got.
Yeah. That's why he was
Davis and
close.
Holland.
Yeah. And the other
Herrera?
Herrera's not bad too in the 6th, 7th inning. Kansas City.
That was a great spot.
Kansas City, the Giants. I don't see a lot of ratings for that World Series, do you?
Yeah, because the G-men are going for their third on even years. And KC's
Yeah, I guess people
they're
are
one of those
watching it.
stories. Yeah, they're like a miracle story. I mean, haven't been to the postseason in 29 years, and all of a sudden, I mean, right there, you even have to be disciplined.
Yeah, right. He's a free swinger for sure. Who was U.S. playing soccer today?
Ecuador. I know they
So what's his
scored.
name's last game?
Oh, well, yeah, Donovan, yeah.
Here comes a split finger for strike three.
I'm just going to go to the backstop. Oh,
Ooh,
wow,
I thought that was
a
in the
pitch.
I thought that was
on
on
the
the
right
gap.
center field.
That was
Yeah.
a gapper.
Look at the coach. The coach was going like, don't do that again. That one came up. That one stayed up.
Yeah, that was a hittable pitch. He could.
I thought it was going to right center. I mean,
if he was going, he could have taken that over the right field wall.
It's crazy, dude. Oh no! Oh, there he is. He's going out. Landon Donovan. They tied 1-1 with Ecuador. That was it.
Like nobody has any confidence. Good eye. Well, how about the
It's
bases
unreal how
loaded?
Holland does that, where he just takes it out of the glove and
Yeah.
he's got that. All right.
All right, come back with New England Buffalo.
And then we got to do.
Carolina
Where the hell's
City.
Matt Humans? A joker? He said he'd be here by 9:30 at the latest. He'll be here.
You gotta stay late, man.
I'm gonna have to leave. You're gonna have to do this for the.
Up the middle.
Wow!
The winning run is up. At
Wow,
20.
that's sick. The winning run is up.
Can you imagine? Huh?
The KC be done. They get swept. You lose this. 2 outs in the 10th.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine? Delman
Trying
Young is
first.
clutch.
Yeah,
Oh,
he is. Who's up now?
Dude, Delman Young is.
Can you imagine? I mean, it'd be nuts. Baltimore. I mean, they're
Dude, they
they're
are a
running
team
the
that's.
field.
They are
Both
a team that's
teams
pulled
are.
a miracle. Yeah,
Both
these are.
teams. I mean,
Wow,
feeling the pressure.
Holland hasn't been the best in the playoffs.
He hasn't?
Here we go, Chuck. Let's go. This is it.
do it.
8 games, 11 minutes to go. All right, let me see. Yeah, about 10 and a half minutes.
Who's up?
UNLV just scored.
There we go. All right.
I'm pulling it in.
Nick Markakis.
Not to be confused with your unofficial.
Which would be?
No.
Oh, come on.
All right, if you thought the baseball game would be over by the time our break was over, you're wrong. Base hit by Delman Young on a 2-strike pitch, and it is 8-6. Winning run at the plate. Markakis batting an 0-1 count. Holland still in there for Kansas City. 8-6, first and second for the Orioles. 2 outs, bottom 10 KC, and now Moustakas' 2-run jack
Right?
is the difference right now. Absolutely crazy, and wild game going as the pitch is high and outside. So 1-1. Meanwhile, UNLV has just scored with 2 seconds left in the third quarter. They lead Fresno State 24-14. That was the final. San Diego State beat New Mexico 24-14. Stanford 34-17 over Wazoo, and 5-3 the Islanders skated past Carolina. 34-33 Hamilton and Toronto, and I got to make sure I give you the winning score. 34-33 Toronto beat Hamilton at home, but did not cover the 4-point line. So all the scores right there. We're finishing up the NFL football. Charles, Carolina, and Cincinnati. No AJ Green. Line is down to 6.5. 43.5 is the total, and now a 2-1 count there for the Orioles and Markakis. Again, Carolina, Charles, this team, this offense. I don't care if who it is. I'd actually rather have Newton if I'm going against him. He's just not impressed me this year. Derek Anderson is a guy that's a little more steady, and the running game's been banged up. We know your guy Olsen's been solid out of the tight end position. And
Burned the Bears last week.
yeah, I'll tell you what, Cincinnati, again, Marvin Jones is back. I love Giovanni Bernard and the ground ball and throw 4-3 the final as far as the putout. Second base to first base, so 4-3, and the Royals win it 8-6, take game 1 for a 1-0 series lead. So Charles, now we can concentrate and finish up the NFL. But Cincinnati still very tough at home, and they were embarrassed on the Sunday night game by New England, and so that's why I'll still look at Cincinnati, because Carolina, to me, offensively is still challenged.
Yeah, that AJ Green is a huge injury for him on the offense. I really feel like he's the bailout guy for Dalton. Even if he misses the throw to him, the guy figures out a way to catch it. They got embarrassed last week, 43-17 at New England. Their defense still playing well. I mean, they had a little bit of a soft schedule: Tennessee, Atlanta, Baltimore. I like the under in this game. Carolina, as you mentioned, not really playing well. Without Green here, I'd only look at the total to go under.
All right, don't count out Brady and the boys. Like we said, they pounded Cincinnati. Now they're on the road against their AFC nemesis there, the Buffalo Bills. Not really nemesis, it's more the other way around. The total is 45. New England, 2.5, they are favored in this game. So, again, the hometown Buffalo Bills, we know the fan base is there. I'd like to see them take care of business. But, again, Brady and the boys showed me something. They were ready. Their backs against the wall. They know they can still take care of business in the AFC East that they've owned for years. The Jets are not going to be a factor. It's either Miami or Buffalo that's got to step their game up. You think Miami can do that against Green Bay. We'll see what Buffalo can do. If they can beat them head-to-head, Chuck, that'll give them confidence going into the second half of the year. So, which way are you going on this one? Again, New England, -2.5, total 45.
Yeah, I like the home dog here in New England. I know they were impressive against Cincinnati. They are 1-2 on the road this year. Their last road game, they lost 41-14 in Kansas City. Buffalo playing good defense, beat Detroit last week 17-14. All 5 of Buffalo's games have gone under the total as well, and I think Buffalo gets the job done.
All right, Baltimore 3-2, Tampa Bay 1-4, but Tampa's lost some tough games, and they also took a game there. Their only win against Pittsburgh, they got late, which kind of messed up one of my teasers, but it is what it is, and I like this Tampa Bay team. They play with some heart. Baltimore's -3.5 on the road. There are some threes out there as well, 43.5 the total against Tampa. And Chuck, again, Baltimore on the road, I'm just not sold on this team. Again, no Dennis Pitta, that was big. The running game's okay at times, but Flacco struggles on the road. Tampa Bay, I feel better with London at the helm, no doubt. Vincent Jackson comes up with some big plays. I think Tampa Bay can take care of business.
I'm not going to most likely get involved in the game, but I actually would lean Baltimore. I've been impressed with what they've been able to do on the defensive end. Again, your Colts game was 20-13. You haven't seen too many teams hold down the Colts. I think Baltimore will be able to hold down Tampa Bay's offense. Whether they can score in Tampa will be another story. But I think the better team here, and on the road, it doesn't scare me here. I'll go with Baltimore.
All right, sharp money on Oakland, believe it or not. I know the Raiders are coming off the bye. But they do play San Diego tough. They beat them last year on the opening Monday night. And again, it's tough to watch this team, but Carr will be back at the helm. He'll be ready to roll. 43.5 is the total. San Diego -7. The Chargers have been lights out. Chuck, they're the only team unbeaten, 5-0 against the number, 4-1 straight up. And they should be 5-0 straight up. They lost that heartbreaker to Arizona. Phillip Rivers has been solid. They re-signed Ronnie Brown. They got Ronnie Brown signed as well. Your take on this game?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of sharp money. Maybe some of the guys are on Oakland, and maybe they think it's a good spot. Maybe San Diego will flat. But
that's according to R.J. Bell over at Pregame.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the sharp money or heard about it, but R.J. said it. Maybe he knows something. But I'm not going to get involved in the game. But San Diego is 5-0 against the number, and they're on a roll right now. And Carr is going to play for Oakland, but they're coming off the bye. They lost 38-14 in their last game to Miami. I'm just going to stay away here.
Dallas, Seattle. Dallas 4-1 somehow, some way. They won that game against the Rams. Seattle 3-1. They won by 10. They got the cover against the Redskins. Should have been a 20-point game. They took care of business. My teaser, they felt sorry for me, so they let me have the Redskins in the teaser. But, again, Seattle's still Seattle. And even off a short week, I can't go against them in the Northwest. Now, Denver took them to overtime, but Denver's Denver. And I'll tell you what, Dallas, I'm impressed with what they've done. I know they come through with some games that they probably shouldn't have won, but still, they're winning those games. They're a shock to me. This is a team I thought was going to be 6-10, and they're off to a 4-1 start. I'm going to give them credit. Seattle's -8, 46.5. Charles, I know it's crazy, but I'm still going to look at the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks win this by about 10 points.
Here's the thing with Dallas. They still have the worst defense in all of football, yards per play, but Dallas's running game and the offensive line has been so good, they've kept the defense off the field, and that's been their success. Run, and it's helped open things up for Romo. On the other side, though, Seattle, the best team in all of football on the defensive side of the ball against the rush, only 2.6 yards a carry. I don't think Dallas is going to have a lot of success running against them, and I think you'll see the same Dallas team that we saw last year. The defense is going to be on the field more, and I agree with you. I would only look Seattle there.
All right, no Carson Palmer. Drew Stanton still questionable. Patrick Peterson questionable as well for Arizona. And Arizona at home against the Redskins. Redskins also off the short week. And again, the defense played with some heart against Seattle. I will say that. They clamped down, although Russell Wilson ran for over 100 yards. But that's Russell Wilson. He's that elusive. Arizona -3.5 total is 45.5, Charles, that I'm looking at. I hate to go against Arizona in Arizona, so I won't do it. They're just a team that flies to the ball, and I know they're shorthanded defensively, but they're still better than Washington in my estimation at home. I'll probably look at the Cardinals.
It's tough with Taylor quarterback, and I wasn't even a fan of his at Virginia Tech, and now he's in the NFL. Now all of a sudden he's a third stringer, and now he's starting the game, and I don't think he's NFL ready. And I would only look at the Skins.
All right, somebody that's partying here, big Charger fan, and he's got his lock of the week, Chargers -7. So you can
There
tell
you go.
that's square money coming in right there as it slipped through the
Yes,
No.
He's
He's
having
having a good time with Legacy. He's one of these guys that bailed out on his buddy. He looks like the best man. He's got the tux on, but without the tie, and he's been drinking heavily.
Yeah, there he goes. As he always walks into the pillar. Oh, there's his girlfriend or boyfriend hiding behind the pillar. They're there.
There you go. And we're okay because we're in Nevada now. New York and Philadelphia. It is Philly -2.5. 50 the total. So Charles, great Sunday night game. Looking forward to this. Now there are still some threes around town. So if you like the Giants, find the 3. If you like Philly, lay the 2.5 total 50. Again, Eli to me just plays much more comfortable on the road. And again, Philadelphia, they've won some games they shouldn't have won. Shouldn't have beaten the Colts. Colts blew that game. This is just going to be a good, fun Sunday night game, Charles. I'm probably going to stay away.
I like the Giants here. I think the Eagles' offensive line is so banged up, and we know they like to run them in and out. There's a lack of depth over there. The Rams, if they didn't shoot themselves in the foot 4 or 5 times, could have beat the Eagles as they lost that game 34-28. Giants have won 3 in a row. They beat Atlanta 30-20. I'd say the Giants pull off the upset.
All right, Rashad Jennings is doubtful in that game, but Williams runs hard for the G-Men.
You like that guy from D.C.
I sure do. Meanwhile, San Fran and St. Louis, they'll be playing the NL Championship Series there Saturday and Sunday, and then the Monday night game also, San Fran, St. Louis in St. Louis, and it is San Fran -3.5, total 43. Chuck, again, the Ram team, I like Austin Davis a lot. If Howie Long's kid was still there, the defense a little bit more formidable. I'll probably stay away from this one initially as well. I may look at teasing the St. Louis Rams and see if I could get a 7-point teaser, get it up over the key number of 10 year tape.
Yeah, San Fran coming off the 22-17 win at home against KC, 4-1 on the under this year. I think the Rams at home pull off the upset here. I'm going to look at the Rams +3.5.
Straight up, they win it.
Well, I would look that way.
You're not basing it on whether the Cardinals take the first 2 from the Giants and then they make it 3 in a row. St. Louis over San Fran.
Good call. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we'll see what Bumgarner has tomorrow. All right, I want to thank Nick Sherrara, a great producer. I want to thank Stella, of course, who was down here doing a mock run here on the video that we're going to eventually get out there on YouTube here from Legacy Stadium inside the beautiful Palazzo. Till Monday, folks, you know our rules here, SportsX Radio. No drinking and driving, no texting and driving. Most of all, God bless our troops. God bless you. Live from Legacy Stadium inside the beautiful 5 Diamond Palazzo. This has been SportsX Radio on the Yahoo Sports Radio Network. Folks, have an awesome weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.